and welcome back to the Cardboard Box podcast. I'm here with Sean and Stephen Hill, and we're going to talk some Gamescom, we're going to talk some Silk Song, we're going to talk some Battlefield 6, and we're going to talk some mystery convention that Steve went to or knows about or something like that. I don't know many details on that. It's a bit of a mystery to me.
To it.
Yeah. Okay, well, all I know is you want to mention something. That's as much information as I'm privy to, which is great research on my behalf. But as usual, we're going to start things off by talking about what games we've been playing over the last month, and I'm going to kick it over to Steve, and he's going to start us off.
That's very down with the hip lingo that you are. Yeah, cool. Okay, so first game I was playing over the past month was Celeste. Have you guys played Celeste?
Yes, Celeste is amazing. It's that platforming puzzle thing going on, and instant restarts, Hotline Miami style. Fucking sick game.
I haven't played it myself, but it's been on like my list for a while. But it looks really cool.
Yeah, it is. That's a good summary, Michael. I don't need to say anything else. That's all I'm playing. Celeste is it's one of those games that, you know, got hyped up a lot, so I was kind of afraid it wasn't going to live up to the hype when I started playing it. And it certainly starts off that way, actually, because the first few levels are really easy. I would say like the first 2 levels start off in such a way that would almost make you question, is this really a precision platformer? But as you know, Michael, it ramps up.
Yeah.
It ramps up a lot. And at least the difficulty incline is really good. I wouldn't say there's any like really steep difficulty curves. It's all quite smoothly climbs up until the very end, when you're basically having to manipulate time itself in order to make these jumps. But and I think there's a lot of fuss made about the whole depression angle, or I don't know if you call it depression. There's like a mental health angle of I was wondering, actually, when you played it, Michael, what was your reading on it? Like, what was the game about when you played it?
Now, I will say this is a while ago, so my memory is a bit fuzzy on it, and my one abiding memory is that the plot elements didn't click with me as much as I'd seen they had with other people online, because like it's a very important game for a lot of people online. I know there's some like trans symbolism, maybe, I don't know what other way to put it, in the game, and that just sort of went over my head, to be honest, when I was playing it.
I didn't really pick up on that at all, to be honest. I mean, I can see sort of where you'd be coming from with that, but I didn't notice it when I was playing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what parts? Well, is it like the dual side of Celeste or was it Madeline and Badlin, I think is what they're affectionately known as?
Maybe that would be the subtextual part that probably most aligns with it. And there's also, I don't know where it is in the game, but there's a screenshot of like the character at a computer with a trans flag on their desk. So that was people thinking, oh, that's a more explicit sort of nod towards that. I do remember there being some like interesting characterization in it. Like there's is it the hotel guy is a bit of a creepy nice guy?
Yes.
And I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
I will say, even though the whole thing about Celeste being, the way I read it was very much as a metaphor for overcoming depression or living with depression, actually, which is, if you've played the game, you'll know that eventually it's something that they learn to live with as opposed to overcome. But the reason, actually, if anyone is watching on YouTube, I've actually quite deliberately put the footage from the hotel level, because this hotel owner I thought was just incredible, like an amazing allegory for the nice guy persona. This guy who is being nothing but polite and servile to you, and then eventually just kind of cracks when he's like, all I've been doing is being so nice to you, and you won't stay at my hotel, which is like such a perfect analogy. It's like, you won't stay in my house, you won't stay with me.
Yeah,
you know, even, and like from the very beginning, she's been saying like, I don't want to stay in this house. I'm just looking for your like back entrance. I'm just trying to work my way through. But she's being really, really like polite to him, even saying like, here, I'll help you clean your hotel and everything. And he's like, thank you so much. So will you stay? I've got a great room for you. And it's like, no, I never wanted to stay. And eventually she just cracks. So yeah, it's I thought that was amazing. I was really, really blown away by it. And yeah, I see. According to YouTube, we've moved on to the next game already.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll just.
That was my way of saying time, Steve. No, I'm so sorry.
Do you remember in those old cartoons, there'd be like someone would be up on stage and a big pole with a hook in it would come out and like drag them off the stage. I think that was a technical error.
So in summary, depression, very important. Yes, we should all be talking about it. Move on.
No, continue, of course. Sorry.
But yeah, no, it's I think. Those sort of characterization things and the sort of allegorical thing it's trying to do is really cool. It just, for me, I was more invested in like the gameplay side of things, which, like, in fairness to Celeste, it works on both levels. Like, you can play this as, you can skip every interaction if you wanted and you'll still have an amazing time. Like you were saying, the difficulty curve is perfect. The way it introduces new elements is really good as it goes through and eventually gets so complicated, but you're doing amazing stuff. Like, you feel like a speedrunner playing the game, even if like you're like me, you've the reaction time of a fucking turtle. You know, and not a teenage ninja turtle either.
Imagine someone kept saying, like, I've got the reflexes of a turtle, and that thought that meant turtles in time. No, actually, just you are right. Like, I was also much more focused on the gameplay aspect of it. I think it's great that all that symbolism is in there. You can read a lot into it if you like, but the fact that it's just like such a solid game that works on its own merits is phenomenal. I don't know if you got this element as well, but there's another guy, I forget his name, but there's like a fellow mountain climber, and I kind of got the idea that he was supposed to be emblematic of people who are obsessed with social media or something.
Yeah, he's always taking pictures and posting them and stuff. Isn't that his whole thing?
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I was kind of confused by this because it's not like it's not like this is portrayed as particularly negative. Like, I don't know. There's one point where he gets like encased in ice and helpless, and I was wondering, or crystal and helpless, and I thought maybe that's supposed to be emblematic of how like useless he is or something. I don't know, but it didn't really track. So I don't know. If anyone listening to this has any opinions, if they've played the game and opinions on this, like, write in, let us know what you think the whole deal with that is. Yeah. In summary, like a terrific platformer with the additional side perk of having like really interesting messages behind it. So I thought that was fan-diddly-tastic.
Put that on the box.
So that's a review for you there, the cardboard box item. I'm going to pass it over to Michael, but I think I can guess what his next game is.
Of course. So, Nightmare Creatures 2.
Before you start, Michael.
Oh, yes.
I think, we're going to try your gameplay.
Oh, yeah, cool. Throw on the regular stuff first and then...
Oh yeah? Okay. Yeah. I had yours loaded up.
Sorry, man.
No, that's
Sean, throw on whatever you want. It's
great. We'll put on the regular one. It's fine. And if you want to introduce it first.
It's mad. I can see steam coming out of your ears. That's a weird element. You should get a doctor to look at that. Astrobot, developed by Team Asobi.
Astrobot.
That's how he says it. And this game is amazing. It's maybe one of the best platformer games I've ever played. Tight controls. It has like a near constant flow of new ideas. Like, every new level was exciting. Like, you might get a new power up that does interesting things, like changes the way you get through the level, or it might be a power up you've already used, but they present new challenges. Fantastic. And it doesn't overdo some of its gimmicks as well. Like, there's one level where, excuse me, it's a fantastic level where you shrink down to being really small, and it means the level almost works on two different sort of perspectives. So you go through a level and then you can shrink down anywhere, and suddenly you're in the grass, and there's different platforming elements in the grass than there is, and it's instant, like you jump down. But that's just that level. They throw away that gimmick, and then the rest of the game never touches on that again. So that's a really confident move, first of all. Great difficulty curve as well. At first I thought it was too easy, and it's sort of, as a lot of platformers are, skews towards being kid friendly. But then towards the end, some of the challenge levels are like really tricky and really satisfying to get right. I think the footage I have is of some of them, but don't cut to it yet, Sean.
Yeah, sure.
But this level that's on screen at the moment, this underwater level, I wanted to show that off because A, it's an underwater level and it's actually really fucking good. And B, it's a rare example in this game of having, most of the levels are like a straightforward linear experience. Like, they have side paths and hidden stuff, but it's like you're constantly like pushing forward. Whereas this is a rare example, like I was saying, of one where it presents like a big, huge hub and you've a number of things you can do in it in any order. Sort of like...
Ooh.
Banjo-Kazooie or Jak and Daxter would have had like a big open area where you can approach challenges whichever way you want. And I really love those types of games, so I wish it did it a little more. But the fact that it does it only like maybe 2, maximum 3 times throughout the game is, again, like a really confident move that, like, oh, here's an amazing thing and we're not going to overdo it. My only gripe is, and this is more of like... an ideological gripe than anything else, which is a weird thing to say, but the whole basis of the game is you're rebuilding a broken PS5, which is your spaceship, basically. So you're going through the levels and like you're getting like the motherboard and fan and stuff like that, the hard drive or whatever. And within each individual level, you're rescuing bots, and a lot of these are dressed up as characters that are associated with PlayStation, either like PlayStation characters like Ratchet and Clank or Nathan Drake, or PlayStation adjacent characters, not Sony ones, like, Solid Snake or Dante or like characters like that. And that's all really cool, but it's hard not to think of it as being very corporate. Like, literally the thing you ride around to levels on is a PlayStation controller. Like, the PlayStation button symbols are featured like in every level really prominently. And it just gives it this feeling of a corporate advertisement.
It kind of is, though, isn't it? Because like I was going to mention, like, this like Astrobot was first a tie-in, wasn't it, for the PS5 originally, or the PS4?
It actually started as I think like a PlayStation camera game, and then they had a VR game. So their previous games were basically like, oh, we want to
material.
Promotional, but also like, here's the new features of this new hardware.
Yeah.
So they had Astrobot's rescue mission, which came free with the PlayStation and was sort of like a mini version of this, where it showed off the the controller's functionality, like the rumble and stuff.
That was Astro's Playroom, I think, wasn't
Playroom,
it?
sorry.
Rescue Mission was the VR one, which I've been meaning to play, but I have a question for you. Do you think this guy is going to be like Sony's new mascot then, or?
He sort of is, in a way. Now, the only thing is, I love his design, but it's a little bland. It's not like Crash or Mario, which is so colorful and of its time, whereas this, like, he looks like a PlayStation peripheral, really, and as cute and full of character as they make him. Like, it's a bit sad that that's your corporate mascot now. And but the thing about it is, collecting the characters from PlayStation was a huge incentive. I was always so excited to see, oh, what character is going to be in this one. And they have some really deep cuts as well. Like, the guy out of Legend of Dragoon is one of the guys that you rescue, Steve. Like, I never thought I'd see him pop up in it. And there's other, like, really, like, it's always fun when you're like, oh my God, that's from this, like, really small game that I know about or have heard of. And it's not just, like, these big, huge characters. So maybe it's a bit of an identity thing.
But I feel like, because, like, just going back to what I was saying, with it being a tie-in, like, they kind of had tied themselves to that. They couldn't really differ from that, I guess, because that was the whole identity of Astrobot.
Like, I do wonder if they just said, okay, it's not going to be tied to PlayStation. It'll still be a PlayStation exclusive, but what if we just made a new character and it was like a fucking animal and he was platforming through these levels and stuff like that? It'd still be an amazing game, but like maybe it's an extra nostalgic cherry on top to have all these characters come up. And like the way they're presented is so fun. Oh my God. I won't spoil it because I think you should play this when you can, but they're at the end of each world, like, so a group of levels, you fight a boss, and after the boss, you rescue like a big character, and then you do a level with that character, which is basically like a version of their game.
Oh, deadly.
So like,
cool.
and the first one you do is amazing, and it's like a 1-to-1 recreation of the game itself, and it's like a PlayStation like.
Is it Crash Bandicoot?
No, it's sort of like that, but it's a PlayStation cult classic, and the fact that they did that and it plays so much like the original was really cool.
That's cool.
Like to do one for God of War, and so you have the axe in it.
Oh, sick.
And
Nice.
you go through, and the music is like the God of War music and stuff. So,
but I feel like it's kind of like a happy accident for Sony that the pack-in game did so well, and that's what brought this to life. Like, I don't know if they would have made this game like as a full price game out of nowhere, like without like I don't think they would have taken the risk on that just because of the way their first party games have been, like The Last World.
yeah, they're skewing way more towards a mature, quote unquote audience. And platforming games aren't big at the moment, but this game has been a big, like, it won all the awards last year, and it looks amazing as well. Like, it's maybe one of the best looking games I've played on the PlayStation. Like, the water, solid, rock solid 60 frames per second as well. Like, one of the best performing games I've played.
I guess just going back on what I was saying though, they probably as well wanted to rival Nintendo a little bit with the family friendly category and stuff, because
this borrows so much from Mario. Like, really, really borrows. But it like, I will say it works. Like, if you could borrow something and it's good, then like I think you get away with it.
Yeah.
But it definitely is in troll to like Mario so much. Like, I would not have been shocked if Mario turned up as one of the collectibles, but obviously Nintendo would never let that happen. But yeah,
it does. Like, just looking at the footage, it looks just so fun. Like, it looks like you could just waste hours just like fapping around in this.
Oh, like, I'd go back and play it again now. Sean, just for a second, throw on the footage for mine. So this is one of the later challenge levels. So and this shows off, I think this is what I sent you anyway. It shows off one of the other cool abilities, which is the time stopping ability, where you can freeze time in a level for a limited amount of time.
Cool.
And so they throw these like really ridiculously hard and fast platforming sections at you. So you can see those guys shooting, and then you freeze them, and then you can use them as platforms to go along. Like, really inventive with how it does all these things, and like so satisfying to play through. Again, like Celeste, it has those instant restarts after you die as well. I couldn't recommend it enough. It's literally my only gripe is that slight feeling
corporate
of
vibe.
I'm playing a big advertisement rather than something with its own spirit.
But I think it's easy enough to forgive, though, isn't it? If it's good, like
it'd be a lot worse if it was a bad version of that. Really, the fact that they made like one of the best platforming games I've played is, I don't know, something that smooths that crack a bit for me as well. Cool. That's Astrobot. Play it, honestly.
Nice.
Like, if you like platforming, buy a PS5 just to play it. Honestly, if you're into the genre, it's like the best one.
It does
I've
look
played,
amazing.
maybe ever.
I'm going to check that out. That looks good.
I'll throw it over to Sean for his first game.
Cool. So my first game, I just finished this last night actually, is Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I mentioned I was playing this before maybe or something. But so this came out last year by Massive Entertainment. It got shit on a lot when it launched.
Technical problems and stuff.
There was so technical issues I think were valid. There was a lot of like weird bugs and just quirks with the gameplay as well. But also I think there was a lot of like Chronically Online people backlashing against the
because you play as a
female
woman
protagonist. Yeah.
Great. That's a valid criticism, all right, of the game. Cool.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I have to say, like, just as an open world game, like Ubisoft is known for their open world games, and they have kind of fallen into a bit of a formula over the last while. Well, for a long time, actually, they've kind of had a formula going, but this was actually, for a Ubisoft open world game, really refreshing. Like, there's still lots to do if you want it, but it's not like shoved down your throat. You know, you can just like pick and choose. You can probably get through the whole game without doing any side missions. Like, the side missions will give you like upgrades and stuff, but they're all things that you can do without. They're just like, nice things to have. They might make certain challenges a bit easier. But getting back to the open world. So the whole premise of it is you're this basically like a thief, like an outlaw in the Star Wars universe, and
just real.
It's kind of cool where it's like imagine if you look at any of the Star Wars movies or anything, and like you just pick a background character and like, oh, I wonder what their life is like in the universe. It's kind of like the Empire is in the game and so are the Rebels, but they do come into the story a little bit, but on a whole, they take a back seat. Like, you play kind of as a no one in that universe, and you're just trying to like survive basically and go from job to job and thing like that. And you do basically at the start of the game, you get messed up with like a criminal syndicate and you're on the run from them. And there's a thing called a death mark, which I guess in the universe is, people would know, that's like a bounty basically on your head. And so you're looking to clear that death mark by doing jobs for different people and working through the story. But so the gameplay is like, I should go back to saying, like, since it launched, there was a lot of bugs and stuff. They worked really hard since launch to fix the game up and get it to a good state. And I have to say, it's really tight now. Like, the controls are amazing. You probably saw in the footage, there's you get this speeder that you can use to like traverse on. There's like a bunch of different planets you can go to, and you can use your speeder to traverse the planets. And it controls like really well. Like, I was surprised. I thought it was going to be like, oh, it's a bit floaty, it's a bit hard to corner, but it was amazing. It was like one of my favorite parts of the game was just exploring the planet on that. The combat is like okay. I'll say the shooting combat is good, but I wouldn't say it's amazing or great or anything like that. It's serviceable. You know, I think in the core of the game when it was made, they wanted you to use stealth as much as you could to get around like missions and outposts and stuff, and that still does work really well. But one thing, I didn't realize this until like I watched a review after finishing it, but apparently there was a lot of missions when the game launched where you had to use stealth, and if you got seen, it was an instant mission fail.
Yeah, it's painful when they do that. Yeah.
And that was like pissing off a load of people. So they got rid of that, and they had to change up some missions so that it wasn't weird, basically, if you got caught and kept going. But that works really well. I mean, it's kind of like any open world game. If you get caught, you kind of get a wanted level, and you have to get that down and stuff. One thing I'll say is as well is like there's something for everyone in this game. There's like space combat, there's third person shooter combat, there's stealth, there's like exploration, there's RPG
and there are
elements.
cooking mini games.
No, there's not, but there is.
Well, then there's not something for everybody. Then is there, Sean?
So there's 4 or 5 there's 4 or 5 planets you can visit, and on each planet there's like a food, like a kind of a market area, and in the market area there's like a food stall, and you can go up to that and play like an eating food mini game, which is so weird. And the first time it happened, I was like, wait, why is this a quick time event? Like, and basically
you can fail at eating.
Yeah.
It's like she puts it in her ear or something. Press the wrong button.
But you have you've probably seen the footage as well, this little companion called Nix, and they can go and like sorry, go on.
Sorry, every time I see like a picture or a poster for like this game and I see him, I have a brief moment of because I think it's a spider or something with his weird thing sticking out.
I won't lie, at first, like, because he would like just kind of jump on my back every now and again off screen, and that would like give me a jump scare until I got used to it. So he can like kind of fetch things for you. He can distract guards and cameras, attack guards, and help you take them down, and stuff like that. But in the food stall mini game thing, you basically have to make Kay and Nix eat like correctly, or you fail. But if you complete that, you get like this dish that you can assign to Nix. Sorry, I should have mentioned, you have a spaceship in the game as well that you use to travel around to all the planets, and that's kind of like your home like area, I guess, when you land on each planet. And in there you can have like some food prepared for Nix, and depending on the dish that you get from different planets, it has different like perks, I guess.
Oh yeah, okay.
So it's just like, I mean, it doesn't matter. You don't even have to get do those mini games. That's just like one of the extra things you can do to like add to the experience.
So I guess like that point you're making, by having like a core experience that you can just barrel through, all this other stuff is just like nice to have.
Yeah, completely. Like the game, the story basically follows you going from planet to planet to do a few main missions on each planet, and then that's it. But on each planet, there's like a load of different side stuff. There's like different clans and syndicates that you can like not join, but you can like do jobs for them, and that'll give you perks. You have a reputation system with all the different clans, and depending on how good your reputation is, you'll get different perks from them. But there's nothing really, like if you have a bad reputation with all of them, it'll just mean that certain areas you go into, you'll have to be stealthy in, whereas if you have a good reputation, you can just walk in freely. And actually, if you get to like the best reputation with the clan, you can go into one of their areas and like take anything you want. Whereas if you were just like on an okay standing, it would be stealing if you took stuff in their area.
Yeah.
Really,
wait, now, can you get a lightsaber in it?
No.
Okay, cool.
There's no light. Yeah, they really wanted to stay away from the whole Jedi thing.
I was thinking that, yeah.
I think actually, I don't think there's any Jedis in the game from what I remember. Like you don't even meet one or like hear about. Maybe there's a story or something you hear. But
they should make a game where you play as a Jedi. Why haven't they thought of that?
Like Star Wars, you think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, let's
like,
use a lightsaber, guys.
Yeah,
come on. Okay, cool. Sounds sick.
I really enjoyed my time with it, I have to say. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. If I was like, if I was more into Star Wars, I think like I'd want to do like everything in the game and like get the DLC and everything. But just from an open world game perspective, like I really enjoyed it. So,
cool.
It was really cool.
Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm getting Far Cry vibes from it. Like, I'm not saying that's good or bad, but like, even though it's third person, I just kind of have a Far Cry vibe about it. I don't know.
Is that maybe like the planet kind of atmosphere and vibe you're picking up, or?
Yeah, because it looks so good, you know, because like Far Cry has always been very big on its environments, and you can tell here that a lot of work has gone into the environments, and also the style of gameplay that you're talking about sounds very similar to Far Cry 2. So.
Yeah, it's kind of the Ubisoft formula, I guess.
Yeah. Not necessarily a bad thing though. Far Cry can be really, really good. So yeah.
No, I think like right now, like the game has completely like redeemed itself, I'd say, from the buggy launch. And like I recommend anyone, to be honest, even if you're not the biggest Star Wars fan, if you're just looking for a good quality open world game to play, it's definitely worth it. Yeah. So I think gonna throw it back to Steve for your next game.
Oh, go on then. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go into my PlayStation VR section of the podcast and talk about a game called Moss. Do you guys know this game, Moss?
Oh, you're a little mouse.
No, I haven't heard of this.
Yeah, well, technically speaking, you're actually friends with the mouse. You're just looking at him, and and she happens to be moving like you do control her with the thing, but canonically, according to the story, you're a reader, because apparently you're reading all of this from a storybook and reading about the mouse who's going around. It's a ridiculous story, ridiculous premise, but yeah, this is a good question mark game. It's I feel like every single time I bring up PlayStation VR, like it's good, except the controls are shit. Yeah. And that once again is true here. I mean, controlling Quill, the mouse herself, like, great. She feels fantastic. Control her. She works perfectly. And you can't really see from the footage on screen now, but the animation on her is incredible. It's so good. Like looking at the way she moves and like looks around and attacks things is just fantastic. It's one of the best character animations I've ever seen in a game. Combat is really simple. You've just got a very simple like square, square, square kind of combo move with your little thorn. And there's puzzles that are quite simple. Like the difficulty curve here is really low because it's very much focusing on the atmosphere and just the sense of wonder as this tiny mouse is going through this world, which is gargantuan, you know? Again, the controls kind of suck. Anytime you personally have to interact with the world, it's awful. Like your little controller, like there's this little orb thing that you use to kind of interact with things. Like you can see them there on screen. And constantly I found these just kind of dragged off screen and I'd have to like shift my entire body to kind of get it back on screen. It was pretty painful. If I could have gotten rid of that, I would have thought a lot higher of this game. The atmosphere is really good. It's very earnest fantasy, which is hard to get right, but it mostly works. One thing that they do screw up on is the voice acting. And when I say they screw up on it, is basically they have one person doing all the voices, and it's really bad. Perfect example here, right? So if you can look on screen, you can see Quill herself is talking to a wise old toad. And whenever their narrator is talking about Quill, just narrating or speaking in Quill's voice, she's really, really good, really, really earnest. She manages to convey like things like fear and anger and stuff really, really well. Then Toad comes along, right? And I'm going to give you an example. This is what it sounds like. It's like, Quill walked into the clearing and she saw a wise old toad. What are you doing here? That's literally what it sounds like.
Wait, that's meant to be
whenever
bad? That sounded amazing.
It's literally somebody like doing a very half-assed attempt at like an old British person's accent. It's so bad, and it took me out of it every single time. And
I thought I was talking to a frog there, to be honest.
Yeah, see, have you ever thought about doing like VO, like character
just
voices?
for frogs, though.
Well, you know, when Jim Henson passed away, I was considering going for Kermit the Frog. Yeah, but yeah, no, the voice acting is a bit poor and the controls kind of suck. But everything else about it, I did really like. The atmosphere was great. You can see, even though the graphics are quite simplistic, the art, animation's great, and the combat and puzzles, although easy, fit the theme, the atmosphere really well. You just kind of, you're there for a relaxing, calm kind of time. So yeah, if you can get over, I think the voice acting isn't too bad to get over. The controls are a bit trickier. If you have a better headset than mine, I don't recommend playing this on the PlayStation VR, but if you've got like what's the one? The Facebook one?
The Oculus? Oculus, I think?
Is it the Oculus?
It used to be called
the Meta Quest.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah. Like if you've got one of those.
Sorry, Steve, have you got the PSVR 2 or the first one?
No, I've got the original one. And
Okay.
like part of the reason I'm always playing VR games is because I'm like, I bought so many of these. I want to play through them all so then I don't have to play with, because like, again, the PlayStation VR, really cool in concept, but it's like one of the earliest VR headsets. So like the controls are almost always really bad. The only two games I've played on the VR that like work really well were Resident Evil 7 and Beat Saber. The rest of them are there's always been issues.
Yeah,
So,
fair.
I think that's
Yeah.
kind of the same though for like you and me, Michael, have tried out the Quest 3S or whatever it is, and tried out a bunch of different games, and yeah, kind of the same experience as you, Steve. Like a lot of them are very janky, but I think that's just the nature of VR, you know, like because when the developers can't like what's the word, like they can't determine exactly, I guess, the movements you're going to make. It's a bit difficult to make it smooth, you know?
Yeah, well, you could be right. I've seen, like, every now and then I was looking for videos to send you, and I always seem to find people, like even now, this person hasn't had any of the issues that I've had with the thing. This seems to constantly happen, like drift drift is a constant concern. But again, you might be right. That might just be the nature of VR. But yeah, this is a sweet, fun little game. Very good for kids. If you've got like kids, I know you guys don't, but if anyone listening has kids who have a VR headset, one to go. But yeah, nice play, but not bad by any means.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool. I guess I'll pass it over to Michael.
Thanks. So the next game I want to talk about is RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business. Or Business.
What a title.
Quick, can I just interject? So RoboCop Rogue City is the next game I'm playing. So if you can avoid any spoilers for that.
Oh yeah, of course,
cool.
yeah. And well, like I'm not sure I can like in terms of the plot. I can like you're not there for the plot, but yeah, I won't.
Yeah, fair.
When did this become the RoboCop podcast? What the hell, man?
But I'm very excited to hear your thoughts on it. So this is my shit basically, and I loved it more than I can. Like, if I had to be very objective and just say how good is this game, it's a little worse than my personal feelings about it, if that makes sense. Because I'm not the biggest RoboCop fan, but I like it. I remember watching it as a kid, but this nails the vibe of it completely. Like the hood aesthetic, the architecture, the way things are presented, like just the overall aesthetic in the game. You hear the RoboCop team at perfect times as well when you're in the middle of a gunfight, and like it always is very exhilarating. It's like sort of big dumb fun. Even the combat you can see is like it's quite slow, but in a really satisfying way, because you can take so much damage and you can just go around fucking headshotting guys, and they're some of the most satisfying headshots in gaming. Like their heads explode. This is a sort of a half sequel add-on sort of thing for the main game, and it all takes place in one big tower.
Judge Dredd.
I was getting Judge Dredd vibes. I was getting the Raid vibes as well. That movie, definitely, I'd say would be influences, particularly Dredd.
Spy Kids,
of course, has always been a big touchstone for
the exploding heads in that film.
Yeah, exactly. But
Shark Boy and Lava Girl, all the classics.
the thing it misses out on, and that I loved from Rogue City, is that it's almost like a Fallout 3 light, in that you have a hub world with a load of side characters that you can do missions for, and they're always like, just, you know, they're short missions, but they're fun, and they always have like funny characterization in them and like ridiculous premises, and you go to a cool new environment and just shoot the shit out of it, and you see like the graphics are actually amazing. I'm not sure this video is the best representation, but as you're shooting through a level, things are exploding and papers flying into the air. It's like it's all presented really well. This game tries to do that hub side mission thing, but because it's in one big tower, it doesn't really work as well. And you can't have the same sort of geographical wit to go around like a big hub area the way you could in the original. Like, I loved going around looking for secrets, and you can go around reporting and ticketing people for like random petty crimes as well in the main game, and it doesn't really work as well in this one, but still really good. The gameplay loop is great. The combat is like slow and fun and stupid, but it just like hits me perfectly, just me specifically. Little janky in terms of the facial animation, in that there's hardly any, and they're often reacting to the wrong things at the wrong time. So there's a bit
robotic,
of jank.
you could say.
Yeah, it's well, it actually works very well for RoboCop, but for any of the non-robot characters, it does come across as stiff. But really fun game. I'd be interested to hear what you think about it, Sean. Being someone who likes
playing it,
you like a fast-paced first-person shooter, which this isn't.
I don't mind. Like, I mean, it's all relative, I guess, to the style of the game. You know, so I mean, it doesn't look really slow either. You know,
yeah, and like they're intense firefights as well, which helps. And really, really enjoyed it. I hope they make a sequel to be honest, and expand on what Rogue City did and make like more hub worlds and more environments. Because I think the game did pretty well.
Yeah,
to be
I think
honest.
so as well. Yeah.
And
it was well received. Like a lot of people liked it.
Yeah, and like I don't think they get a massive budget for these games, so they can probably keep their overheads pretty low. But yeah, especially if you're a fan of the movies, I would highly recommend.
Nice.
This looks really fun. I really like the look of it. Like the fact that it's not extremely fast paced, not really rapid, is actually what's kind of selling it to me.
Yeah.
Like I like those kind of firefights a lot. I do have one question though. Does the business get finished?
It gets tricky. It gets there's so much paperwork. I forgot to say there's around 90% of the game is paperwork mini games. Just filing your papers and stamping them and making sure they're notarized and stuff like that. So yeah, it's literally unfinished business a lot of the time. So
okay,
but
I think this joke has run its course.
I think it's dead, to be honest. But
it has definitely died.
One thing I'll say is when you said, the combat is actually a selling point, it is weirdly almost cozy, as in it's chill, you know?
I get that. I do kind of get that, yeah.
You're like a walking tank kind of.
Pretty much now, you can't just, like, you have to heal and not take cover, because you can't even crouch in the game, really. Like,
really? Shit.
Well, you can if at certain points, but you don't
can't
necessarily
dolphin dive. What? Fuck this shit.
You can't. It's so like I'm just going to walk towards these guys slowly and line up my shots and headshot all of them while they're like pelting me with bullets. But yeah, big recommendation from me. Going to throw it over to Sean.
Cool. So I'm going to do something a bit unorthodox for my next game, because I played recently 2 games based underwater. One of them, which is the one I like really wanted to talk about, is the DLC for Still Wakes the Deep.
Oh, cool!
Siren's Rest.
Oh, cool!
But I can't show or talk about that without spoiling the main game. And I think it's a game, Steve, like if you haven't played, you'd really like.
Should I just leave the room then?
No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up footage for the other game I've played called Under the Waves. And I can talk a little bit about both games.
Yeah, that's
without
cool.
spoiling anything.
I remember seeing Under the Waves trailer ages ago and thinking that looks sort of cool, but I never picked it up.
Yeah, so I finished this one recently. I'll talk about this first. I finished this recently, and it was a very like kind of cozy, relaxing game, like you were saying as well, Michael, about RoboCop. So the idea in Under the Waves is you play, I guess, like you work for this oil company, and they have stations under the water near oil rigs to kind of like manage all the systems in the refinery and stuff like that. And you get sent on a shift down to this station. I think it's like a month-long shift or something. You kind of soon learn though that your character has like lost their daughter in some kind of accident recently and is really struggling to get over, like move on from that. And yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I'm not laughing at the door.
I know.
We're not laughing at that.
That was, yeah, for some reason you can interact with the mirror in the bathroom and just put all these weird faces. It's like so like different change of tone to the rest of the game. But so anyway, he's finding it hard to move on from the loss of his daughter, and he's kind of like separated from his wife, and he's just stuck in a rut, you know. So he kind of like is like, this will be good for me, clear my head and stuff. So I think the game was actually made, I can't remember the name now, but it was made in participation with some kind of ocean cleanup foundation. So they do kind of reference things like, you know, being so much rubbish in the ocean and stuff, and you can actually go around and like pick up plastic in the game and then use that plastic to craft things that'll be like helpful for you. The main, like the core gameplay loop is like you kind of wake up on the station, you get like a mission for the day, you have a little submarine that you can take to explore the map, and it's just a section of the sea floor, but there's loads to discover. There's like shipwrecks, plane crashes, then all the stuff to do with the oil refinery. Like you need to go into these like these tunnels that are connected to the refinery to fix things and stuff like that. But while all this is happening anyway, and you're going through the day-to-day, like you start having kind of flashbacks and stuff to your daughter, and like you start like seeing a vision of her underwater and stuff, and your character like thinks it's real and all this, and he's basically kind of losing his mind a little bit, you know. And so I won't kind of like spoil where the game goes, but it was a cool like little relaxing experience. Like when you're just traversing in the submarine from A to B, it's like really I think there's only one or two ways you can actually die. Because like you'll probably see in the footage there are like sharks and like huge whales and stuff, but none of them
that
attack
seal
you.
Man, sorry, I just have to say the seal came up on screen again. The graphics look amazing, but the seal looks like it's from a fucking Disney game or something, like the massive eyes on it and stuff.
So that seal is like a companion you get, so I think that's probably the reason for that. Like early on in the game you see the seal, and then the seal hangs around outside the station the whole time, so you can like wave out the window and stuff. But yeah.
Cool. sorry
no, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much more to say on that one. It's just a really chill, like if you like underwater stuff as well, like Subnautica and things like that. It's cool. Oh yeah, there's a shot on screen as well where you can go up to the surface, and I remember like it just like looks so different. Obviously it looks different to underwater, but I wasn't expecting it to look so detailed. Like
yeah, it looks amazing
and stuff. It was really cool. So yeah, and then the other game I was playing, which I won't show footage of for spoilers, was the DLC for Still Wakes the Deep, Siren's Rest. I can't really say too much about this. I'll just say it's a pretty short experience, like, but it's a very nice add-on to the main game. It doesn't, well, it kind of wraps up some things, but also like leaves some things open as well. And yeah, I think that's kind of all I can say. Like the gameplay is very similar to Still Wakes the Deep. It's, if you haven't played that, it's kind of a walking like it's like a psychological horror, like walking simulator is the best way to say it, best way to put it. There's no combat in it. Like actually it's made by the Chinese Room, who also made one of the Amnesia games. So it's very in that style. And Steve, I highly recommend playing it if you get a chance.
I'm planning on it.
Yeah, it's well worth it. But yeah, the DLC is like, I'd recommend playing that too. Like if you enjoy the game, it's it's just worth it as a nice add-on to the story, I guess.
I think was Still Wakes the Deep. Is that the one that has everyone speaking in a Scottish accent, and they had like translation, like not subtitles, but actual translations for like their some of their local expressions and euphemisms?
Yeah, so it's set in the 70s on an oil rig in the North Sea, and like all the crew are Scottish, and they hired Scottish actors for the voice acting as well. And then they also, there's a achievement in the game to play the whole game in Scottish Gaelic. Now, unfortunately, they didn't dub it in Gaelic. It's just subtitles.
Aye.
I wish they had done the dub. It would have been really cool. But
literally twice the amount of work, though.
yeah. But and that same achievement carries over to the DLC as well. It's in there as well, so which is pretty cool. But yeah, there's a lot of like, it's very, I guess, true to like the 70s and like the way they like Scottish slang and stuff. It's all like, yeah.
You want really that cool. Though. You don't want it to seem like this person isn't from you don't want to be taken out of it. Do you ever hear the term iPhone face?
No.
It's when I think it was coined when there was a big Hollywood actor in a period drama set in like, I don't know, the 1800s, and someone on Twitter said, I can't buy them in this film because they have a face that's definitely seen an iPhone. You know, there's something about someone that's like anachronistic or something.
Oh, I get what you mean, yeah.
So I like that they're like, you know, this is the way these lads would be talking to each other because they're all from the same country and it's this time period or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. Yeah, let me know if you play it, Steve, what you think.
Yeah, I will do. It's on my list. It's a big list.
Cool, and I'm going to throw it back to Steve for your next one.
It's
sick.
Yeah. Sorry.
Which I'm sorry. I'm guessing it's your number. I'll just wait until you say it. Yeah.
Number 4. We go for.
Okay, cool.
This next game is like something out of one of my Japanese animes. This is Attack on Titan 2.
Cool.
Which is actually kind of tricky to say. Attack on Titan 2. There's a lot of T's in there. Yeah, this is a game I've been wanting to play for a while. I knew it was one of those ones that I needed a fair bit of time to really get into. This game is really good. This game kicks ass. So it's kind of divided into two different sections, and the main section where you're flying around, towns and forests killing titans, I don't think I'd change a thing. It is so much fun. The movement traversal is incredible. It feels a lot, Spider-Man. For anyone who's not familiar with the anime, they've got this thing called omnidirectional mobile gear, I think it's called, and it basically means that you can shoot around the place using like wires like Spider-Man, and it's really fun. Very occasionally there was a bit of jank. If I hit a wall that was like, half a meter too high, I just kind of like crash into the wall and I wouldn't be able to move. But that was rare enough, and I think it's easily forgivable considering how much fun it is. You go super fast. Like when you're flying through the air, it is very high. And there's all these titans running around. Most of the levels basically involve you killing titans, and in order to do that, you kind of have to and you have to line up your sights so that you've got the target right in the back of their neck, and then you have to kind of fly in, time your button press, try and cut their neck open, and then boom, they're dead. It's a ton of fun. I highly recommend this game. Highly, highly recommend.
Steve, I know from the anime that like killing any Titan is like a big deal. Like it's really hard for them to do. Is that the same here, or do they are there like lower grunts who are easy, or like how do they manage that difficulty?
That's a good question, Michael. Yeah, they have like you said, they have like regular ones like the ones you're seeing on screen, and like they have small, medium, and large titans basically. And literally this just applies to size, but they also have abnormal titans which show up occasionally, and these guys they've got weak points on their body that you have to hit a couple of times to kind of slow them down and then hit them in the back of the neck. So they do have that level of difficulty. And then there's also you'll have the special titans like the female titan, the armored titan, the colossal titan, and these guys, they have like whole levels dedicated to them because they're so hard to kill. So I cannot express enough how much fun this is. Like I could play this game for hundreds of hours. I think I played it for all I did was go through the story mode, which was about 30 hours. Very, very decent chunk of time. The thing that kind of stopped me from playing after a while was the other half of the gameplay, which is like, if any of you has played Persona, there's a kind of relationship system here. So like when you're not in these levels, you kind of have to build up your relationship with other scout members. And this kind of upgrades your skill tree. It's not terrible, but it's also not like, it's not what I'm here to do. Like I'm not here to do that stuff, It's fine. It's serviceable. It acts as a decent ebb to the main game's flow. So I do understand that it needs something like that to be in there. Although I do think it could have been improved. Because the main game is just so intense, so octane. They do need something a bit calmer, but they could have done something a bit better.
Yeah, I can see that. Like it's the footage, like it does look amazing. It looks so fluid the way you're flying around the city, and like I think Spider-Man's a good comparison point that you mentioned. But yeah, like I guess because knowing what I know about the story, and if it follows the anime and manga in any way, then there's a lot of stuff they need to get true to the player that you can't do in the middle of a big action scene as well.
Yeah, and like I mean, the cutscenes are fine. Like you can tell that this is like a AA game. I wouldn't say it's a AAA game by any means, because there's a lot of just talking heads and like very static kind of cutscenes, which they're fine. Like again, it's not what you're here for, so there's no need to expend a lot of money on that kind of thing. But yeah, it's fine. I will say a big part of the game, which is on screen now, is there's these bases that you have to build. Like this is actually a really important part of the main game, because if in the earlier levels it doesn't matter so much, but later on it's essential. Basically, these are the sources of your gas and blades. If you don't have them in the level, you will run out of gas and blades, be completely helpless, and you will die. and the bases, they get like upgrades as they go along, so they have additional functions. Some of them shoot at other people to get like really precious resources, that kind of thing. And you do kind of have to manage this. So the fact that they've got just enough stuff going on that's not mindless, that's kind of what makes this, I think. Yeah, I would really recommend this. You do kind of have to take the bad with the good, but the good is so good that I think it's very easy to overlook any of the negative points in this, because as you can see from the footage, it's just such a fun game. It's so much fun.
Yeah, that looks sick, actually. I never thought of picking up any of the Attack on Titan games because I heard there were some others and I heard they were like trash, but this looks semi-decent. So maybe like if it was on sale or something, I might pick it up sometime, actually.
Yeah, it's very rarely on sale now, I will say, so you'd want to keep an eye on. I remember the first time I saw it on sale, I'd had my eye on it for about 2 years, so it does take a while. Yeah, so I will say that
it's crazy. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah.
Just looking at the footage, it's mad.
Also part of the appeal, honestly. I will say that if anyone is interested in getting it, so there's 2 games in this series, like the first one and the second one. The second one makes the first one completely irrelevant because it covers everything from the first game.
Okay.
Like it's a retread with like slightly different like visuals. So yeah, if you're going to get one, this is the only one you really need to get.
Sick.
Yeah, so I hope you'll try it out sometime. I will throw it back once again to Michael Pender.
So this is my last game, and this is Golden Sun, developed by Camelot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Camelot Software. So this is a JRPG made for the Game Boy Advance, but I'm playing it through the Switch online thing that you can play Game Boy Advance games with. And I just tried it out because I'd heard people like saying, oh, that was a great, like people had nostalgia for it and said it was pretty decent. And Camelot Software are interesting because apart from JRPGs, they've also made the Mario golf and tennis games. And you can definitely see like a sort of very cartoony aesthetic in the game. But what surprised me most was like I started playing it and I thought this is just going to be like an uber generic game, like random battles and go to towns, get all my equipment, go do more random battles, fight a boss, etc. And there is a lot of that, but also so you have these magic abilities that like you can use during battles, obviously like fire and wind and whatever like that, all elemental based. But you also get to use them outside of battle when you're going around towns and stuff. And so you use them for things like you have a boulder in your way on a level and you can use it to like telekinesis to move the boulder out of the way, etc. And like that's a very simple example, but it goes some way to making it more engaging as you're going around these dungeons, etc. But they actually use it in some novel ways, so you can combine them at certain points to solve puzzles. But there's also interesting ones, like early on you go to a town and somebody's stuff has been stolen. All the like precious relics have been stolen and they don't know who did it. And you can use a mind reading ability that you have to go around and sort of do a little bit of detective work. And it's very simple the way it's presented because you eventually find a person and they're like, hey, I stole the thing. And it's sort of like, okay, well, I know who did it. But like that was unexpected. I didn't think the puzzle element would be as much a part of the game as it was. So I really enjoyed that. I don't know if I'm going to finish it because I'm finding it's very easy. Now it could just be like a very shallow difficulty curve, but I played 10 hours and never died once. I've never even had to revive a character during battle. To the point where I sold my revive thing, whatever it's called, because it costs a lot of money and I bought armor instead. So I'm not really engaged with the combat. Like it's got an interesting combat system. You find these things called Jinn, which are like basically Pokemon, for want of a better term. And when you battle them, you can assign them to a character and then use them to make like an ultra move during the battle. And that's a pretty engaging system. But
I'm just thinking of the country where Jinn originate are probably furious now at the idea of you calling them Pokemon.
Yeah, I think it's an Indian thing, like a Hindu.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Hindu thing, like it's spelled DJINN. But like fucking JRPGs are notorious for taking other religions' iconography and just like putting it into the middle of a turn-based battle system. Let's summon Jesus down to wipe out all these sinners, you know?
Apparently it's from Arabic mythology and Islamic tradition.
Oh shit, I was completely wrong then. Okay. But thanks for the fact check there, Steve. Keeping us right. But
no worries.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to stick with it, to be honest. I think I've gotten out of it what I need. Like the story is uber simplistic and it does that thing that some older JRPGs do, especially ones which are geared more towards kids, where they explain things 10 times to you.
Yeah.
But one interesting thing is you often are asked questions. So your character is silent, but someone will turn and say, "Isn't this right, Isaac?" And you can say yes or no. And this happens like 20 times during each dialogue exchange. And sometimes it can be annoying, but sometimes it's interesting as well. Like, "Oh, do you think we can make it, Isaac, if we really work together?" And you could say no. Like, you know. To the point where at the beginning of the game, after you do the first dungeon, the town elder brings you in and says, "You must go on this great quest. Will you take on this responsibility?" And you can say no. And the game ends.
What?
Yeah, it's a game over.
Serious?
Yeah, you can. It's. I think Far Cry 4 does something similar at the beginning of the game,
cool.
where you can get a false ending at the beginning if you refuse to call to action, sort of thing. But like it's pretty decent. I'd say there's another reason I'm not going to complete it, and that's because of a game we're going to talk about later when we're talking about Gamescom, because that's going to occupy my time. But I'd say if I was in another frame of mind, it's a very chill game. I'm playing on the Switch, so I can just lay back and chill with like a by the numbers JRPG. But it's pretty decent. I have to admire that it's not just doing the bare bones of what you need to do.
I've played this before. We had this when I was growing up. I tried to play through this game about 3 times, and every single time I got to around the point where you get your first Jinn, I just found myself giving up.
Yeah. It's
like the ideas behind it. It's like it's very admirable, but something about it just doesn't grab me. So I can understand completely where you're coming from. Like I do want to go back and give it a go, but I'll give you yet another reason why you're probably not going to finish this game. So this is kind of famous in a way for exactly complete. The sequel to this game and its sequel are usually lumped together as like one narrative, and it's like very much like there's a cliffhanger ending at the end of this, and it's like this game isn't finished at all. This is like you need to play 2 of them together to get the whole story. So that might be something worth keeping in mind.
And like, to be honest, I'm not that invested in the story that I need to, what's going to happen to X? I don't even remember who, you know. So yeah, that does sound like if I was into it, that'd be sick, because I'd be like, because I hear people say the sequel's pretty good as well. So I would be like, oh yeah, sick, more Golden Sun. But no, it's not really grabbing me. I'm glad I gave it a shot. Like it was an interesting one to mess around with, but no, I don't think I'll be sticking with it, unfortunately. Back to Sean.
Sick. So yeah, the last game I'm going to talk about is Sleeping Dogs.
Oh, the open world.
Yeah.
Oh wow, cool.
Have either of you played this?
I've always wanted to play.
No.
I played this I liked it, but it was just one of those ones that like other games were out that I wanted to play more.
Yeah.
But I always loved it though when I played it. It was really good.
Yeah, so I had it years ago on Mac actually, and it didn't run very well for me, so I only played a little bit of it. And then I picked it up on sale recently on the Xbox, and decided to give it a go, because I like you, Steve, I always kind of wanted to play it like through properly. And yeah, so it's kind of basically a GTA clone, open world game set in Hong Kong. Came out in 2012, developed by United Front Games, but it's actually published by Square Enix, strangely enough. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to jump into it and see like how it's stacked up against other kind of like similar GTA clones. And there's a heavy emphasis in this game on melee combat, and it's one thing that the game does really well. At the start, I was a bit like, okay, it's kind of just like you have two moves or whatever, so it's a bit button mashy. But you can go to these like martial arts training kind of areas in the game to upgrade your abilities and unlock different combos and stuff that you can use in combat, which is really cool. And again, kind of like I was saying with Outlaws, there's a lot of those unlocks, and there's a lot of other things that the game gives you as options, but you don't need to do them. So I didn't unlock all the combat abilities. I think I got like 6 or 7 out of 12 or something like that. But I did find some of them really useful and like helped me out a lot through the story. The premise of this one is you're an undercover cop in Hong Kong, and you're infiltrating this like triad gang. But the story actually was one of the things that kept me hooked going through it. Like, it sounded very basic on the surface, but as the game went on, the character you play as, like, he kind of grows attached to some characters in the underworld, but he's also helping the police on the side do other things, and he's basically playing both sides, it seems. And there's also some like shady characters in the police as well, which comes in like later on in the story. But yeah, I don't really have like too much to say on it. It was a solid like open world game. I think this came out roughly around the same time as GTA 5, which was probably like, if you put them side by side, obviously GTA is like way more polished and had a lot more features in it and stuff. Maybe like the one thing this does better than GTA would be the melee combat, 100%. The gunplay in this wasn't great. Yeah, so not even a good for gunplay. I'd say like an okay to a bad.
Yeah.
And but you don't I guess that's one of the reasons as well. There's not too much emphasis on that, and also Hong Kong, there's not that many guns available. But you only need to resort to guns at certain times in the story. The rest of the time, it's usually just melee combat. The driving in it was at first a bit janky, I found, but I kind of got used to it as the game went on and like found my rhythm with it. But still, yeah, not a patch on GTA, unfortunately. But look, all that said though, it's like, it's a good game. I wouldn't say it's amazing or anything, but the story was very good. I will say, and that's kind of what kept me hooked throughout it to finish it. Also, like the side activities in it were like compelling to do, but I kind of like Outlaws. After a certain point of playing it, I was like, I just want to finish the story now, so I kind of like stopped doing all the side stuff. But yeah, no, it's Steve, I'd say like if you want to play it, definitely give it a go. I'd say you'd probably feel similar to me on it, but I'd be interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, the main thing I liked about it when I was playing it, like again, for however briefly, it was just like the sense of place. Like with Grand Theft Auto, like it always seems to feel like generically American. Like it always feels like, oh, this could be anywhere. But like Hong Kong is such a specific place that you really do feel like, okay, this couldn't take place like anywhere else.
Sorry, I should have touched on that. Just how immersive the game is in its setting in Hong Kong is brilliant. Like, that's one thing. I think you're right. It does that better than like GTA, arguably. And like there's a load of, there's obviously like the game is in English, but there's a lot of like characters will speak Chinese and stuff in places, and mix Chinese with English, which I thought was really cool as well. And yeah, it's very true to the setting in a lot of different ways.
I have to say that chase scene looked sick.
The running through the market.
Yeah,
I think that's actually the start of the game. You start off having to run. Oh no, I think you're running away from someone. But there are a bunch of missions where you need to chase somebody through like different areas as well, which is really cool. And like knowing the map, especially if like the police are after you is a big thing because there's so many alleyways and stuff that you can do. And the police in this game, I will say, are like ruthless. Like even you think like, oh, I can just dive down this shortcut. Nah, they'll be on you like straight away. But yeah,
I love how in this chase that we're watching, he runs into like 20 different people. It reminds me of that bit from Heavy Rain where you're shouting Jason and you're running into everybody. But yeah, that looks cool. I've like heard about it. Like people keep saying it's almost like Mad Max, one of those like forgotten games that is actually pretty decent.
That's exactly it. I think it flew under the radar when it came out. Like I said, probably coming out.
Sorry, I'm just looking at there's a bit there in the just like put this guy's face into a rotation. It's brutal.
Oh yeah,
really
in that it surprised me actually. Yeah, the melee combat, like there's how'd you call it, like environmental objects that you can throw people into. Like that's the aircon unit. There's like, you're at a construction site and there's like table saws you can use, and it's like, wow, this got so bloody out of nowhere, you know. But sorry, what was I saying before that? The chase scenes. No, I can't remember. I lost it.
But overall,
sorry, that was it. I was just going to say it flew under the radar a bit when it came out, and I think being so close to the release of, I think it was the same year as GTA 5, so it just got buried in releases.
Of course,
but now it seems to have found a bit of a cult following, especially on PC with mods and stuff. But yeah, worth checking out. Definitely.
Sick, very good. Steve, do you have another game or?
I have one more that I can talk about very, very quickly. There's not an awful lot to say, so I'll just very briefly mention. This is on the other side of Square Enix's spectrum. I was playing something called the Chocobo Collection. So this is kind of a unique game because Chocobo Collection is 3 games in one, but 2 of them were only released in Japan. The main one that was on it is Chocobo Racing, which I think most people have heard of. There's not much to say about this game other than it is a Mario Kart clone. It's just Mario Kart, but not as good. I know some people kind of think of it fondly, but I would say whoever does think of it fondly probably just grew up with it and is very nostalgic, because there is practically nothing in the game that I would say is actually done better than Mario Kart. It does some things that are interesting. For example, in Mario Kart, right, there's these pickups in each racetrack that you can get to shoot weapons, and Chocobo Racing has that as well, but you can also select your own innate ability. So if you charge up this ability throughout the race, you can just use it in bursts. Some of them you can use constantly, like a little speed burst. Others are like much, you have to be much more frugal with. Like there's one that's like casting Meteor on all of your other teammates, and you can only do that like twice per race tops. It's kind of an interesting idea, but it's just kind of not shoddily implemented. It's implemented pretty well, but it's just the rest of the game is quite dull, so you don't really feel the need to do it that often. The other thing that is a complete write-off, it just makes no sense, is the fact that you can level up your character's stats. And this is, again, nice idea, horribly implemented because it doesn't make sense to do it. Like there's no sense in upgrading your stats, because if you're going to do that, then that means you're only ever going to play with one character, or you're going to upgrade everybody's stats and then they're all pretty much the same again as they were before you implemented them. So like, what's the point of like upgrading stats? You know, there's pretty much no reason to do that. So, yeah, there's not really much else to say about that. It's fine. Like, it is a Mario Kart clone, so it plays like Mario Kart. So it's fun enough in multiplayer. I'll give it that. But it's just not as good, basically. The 2 other games I'll mention just very quickly because there's not much to say about them. One of them is called Chocobo Stallion. And the best way I can describe this is, if Chocobo Racing is FIFA, Chocobo Stallion is LMA Manager. I don't know how else to explain it, because like basically all you're doing in that is kind of like grooming your Chocobo and trying to make sure that it like races well, and you can watch it race, but you're not actually racing it.
God, that's so hands off. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, it's awful. It's like it's a very Japanese game, very, very menu based. I got bored of it almost immediately. It's just not really much fun. You just have to choose the things to feed it, like choose how much time it spends outside, how much time it sleeps, things like that. It was very, very dull. Would not recommend. Because even if you speak Japanese, which is the only way to play it, I still wouldn't recommend because it's quite dull. And the very last one was better. It was okay. It was called Dice de Chocobo, which is basically a Mario Party clone where you play as Chocobo and Chocobo adjacent characters. Again, it's fine, but much like Chocobo Racing, it just doesn't do it quite as well as Mario Party does. So, yeah, it can be fun with friends, but there's better options out there, in a nutshell.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I'm glad
that's
you
pretty much all.
Took that bullet for us, because I would not want to play these games.
Yeah, if anyone's ever been, I was curious for a long time. Because I've heard I've heard a wide range of opinions on Chocobo Racing, so I was intrigued to find out how it was. And fact of the matter is, it's just basically like, it's not a bad game, but it's a very lazy game. All the courses are really bland, and this is just not as good a game as any other card player you've ever played. And I mean that, like any other card player you've ever played.
Okay.
So
fair. All right. Well, that's our games wrapped up. Let's move on to more games, but ones that haven't come out yet.
Yay!
So Gamescom was on recently, hosted by patron saint.
The one and only.
The Jeff. Yeah, so I watched this live. I'm not sure if you guys watched this live, and
no.
Like, apart
there was
from,
nothing exciting announced, was there?
Well, apart from the tantalizing hint about Silksong, which we'll get into later, there wasn't anything major for me. Like, there was well, maybe we should get into, there was a look at Resident Evil 9.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm like, it looks cool, but I'm not going to play this one because I'm not a fan of you're very weak against pursuer enemy style gameplay. I liked Mr. X in the RE2 remake, but I'm more a fan of when you can shoot the shit out of something and resource management side of things.
Is it really? So I haven't really been keeping up with Requiem, the Resident Evil 9, but so is that the basis of it? Is it more like 7 and 8, or is it actually like you're less powerful than that?
I think it's sort of like 7 and 8, but like the footage we've been shown, which is maybe from the beginning of the game, is you're being pursued. I'm not sure if it was explicitly in this trailer or the stuff that's been revealed since, but the gameplay demo at least had this huge hulking figure pursuing you around a house, and you're pretty much like,
but is that not? Is that just kind of like? I mean, that happens in 7 as well, and like the Nemesis system kind of thing. I'm sure, like, surely that's just one part of it. Or?
I think so. I think it will get probably more action focused as the games go on, or as the game progresses. Like, as Resident Evil sort of tends to do anyway. Sometimes, as in, like, you get more guns and you get more access to things. So yeah, I'm definitely more on the other strand of Resident Evil. Like, I'll probably be more invested in the next remake that they announce than the main
5 maybe, or Code Veronica.
Probably Code Veronica. I don't know how they're going to handle the setting of 5, to be honest.
Yeah,
that's a fucking hot potato. What? Sorry, go ahead.
Who?
Boys at the same time.
No, you go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
Just I mirror, but in like an opposite sort of way. Like, I'm the polar opposite of you, Michael. Like, this kind of gameplay is very much like the kind of thing that I'm into. Like, it reminds me a lot of 7, which was easily in my top 3 of the Resident Evil games. It might be up there. Like, it's I love that game, and this reminds me of this a lot. I also thought the thing that's following you around this time around looks like possibly the most terrifying thing I have seen in any of the Resident Evil games, like, ever. It's really the stuff of nightmares, which I'm like, yes. So
because if you think about it, Mr. X actually looks a bit silly, like with his hat and stuff like that, whereas this looks like a nightmare. Really,
I actually don't think I've seen this thing yet, because I haven't watched the trailer fully.
I'm not sure it's in this trailer. I think it's in footage that's been released since.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. I would suggest having a look at it. Like, you're right, I don't think it is in this trailer. I can't remember if it is or not, but yeah, it's really terrifying looking. So
Sure.
like, I loving it. But yeah, no, I'll play it. I'll let you know if it gets like nice and campy and shooty towards the end, and then yeah, can always play it then. People are saying that like it might have Leon as a secret character in it, but I don't buy it.
They are doing like third person as well, like view on this. So I wonder, like, that's the only part we've seen is like the thing following you or whatever. But I wonder, will it open up and like, yeah, there'll be more resource management and like just regular like zombies you're shooting and stuff, I'm guessing.
I would presume so, yeah. Like, and especially you go back from the first teaser trailer, you go back to Raccoon City and to the RPD headquarters or whatever.
They at least showed the outside of that. So yeah. No, I'm definitely going to play it as well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's is there a release date yet? Are we about to see it? There it is, February 27th. Cool. Yeah, sorry, you're watching the delayed thing. So, yeah, nice. What else at Gamescom like kind of drew your eye?
They showed more Onimusha, which I don't know how that's going to go, because the original is really weird, because the first game was basically they took just, tried to make a samurai game out of it, and I don't know how well that will work, but I'd be interested to see, what they try with it. But yeah, I love the first and third Onimusha games. I've never played the second. I
never played any of them, but yeah, they look cool.
I really enjoy them, and they have their own particular sort of vibe. But yeah, the trailer looked okay. I'm still very much like, there's a huge question mark over how that'll be really. Is it more of like a Sekiro sort of vibe, or is it more arcadey, or did they lean back into the survival horror aspects of the mild survival horror aspects of it? So yeah, that was one that was sort of semi-interesting to me anyway.
Yeah. Steve, was there anything that stuck out to you or that you've like heard of since that was shown? Cool. We might have lost Steve possibly for a little bit, but we'll see if he can come back on the line.
Well, in the meantime, I guess we saw like more Call of Duty stuff as well.
Yeah, yeah, okay, cool. Steve's going to reconnect. Yeah, I can talk about that for a little bit. So, yeah, first of all, Battlefield 6, because we have to kind of talk about both of them together. That got announced, hold on, let's just check if Steve is back with us. Hey, man.
Oh, here we are.
Oh, perfect, you're back. That's cool. I was just going to go on to talk about Battlefield 6 and stuff, but just quickly, was there any game that you kind of saw or heard about during Gamescom that stuck out to you?
One that I kind of liked the look of was was it John Carpenter's, what was it again? John Carpenter's something or other? Toxic Avenger, was it?
Toxic Commando.
Toxic Avengers, that movie. Yeah, like I only glimpsed this, but I liked the vibe that it was going for. Like apparently someone has said to me that it's basically like Left 4 Dead but campier, and I'm like, that sounds right up my alley. I think I'd be down with that. So
yeah, it does look like
good.
It does look like a kind of a new generation Left 4 Dead. Yeah, it looks really cool actually. 4-player co-op. Yeah, seems pretty cool.
It's mad because John Carpenter is like a massive gamer, apparently. He's doing his 70s, and you wouldn't expect it, like this celebrated director and all, but he's really into his games. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that does look sick. Is there any release date on that, Steve, or
Not a clue. I just like glimpsed the trailer, so I have no idea when it's coming out. It's just something I thought looked interesting.
Do you know one thing? There was a bunch of games shown that had like a similar vibe of like either being co-op or PvPvE with like
extraction shooters and stuff like that,
but with a supernatural element or something, or horror element. Yeah. But
it tends to happen at these shows
early
where a lot of similar looking games get shown. Like I think
Same
we've said
thing
it
at,
so many times in the last few shows for Souls-like games, and they just all blend into
Yeah,
one.
completely.
Oh, there's so many.
One thing I noticed about this Gamescom is that they're finally catching up to the Elden Ring aesthetic. So I'm seeing lots of Elden Ring style ones coming out of the works now. But yeah, and they can vary in quality as well. Like some of them are meant to be decent, but like I'm not sure any of them were really arresting during this show.
Yeah. I might just quickly go back to what I was saying about Battlefield 6, if that's cool. So I think it was just before Gamescom that got Battlefield 6 was revealed properly, and then a few days later they showed off the multiplayer trailer for it, which I can hopefully get up here. And then that was quickly followed also by the open beta for it, which spanned 2 weekends, which I managed to play. So I can chat about it a little bit. So the whole thing with this, Battlefield 2042 was the most recent. It was a bit of a flop. It has redeemed itself quite a bit. I played the shit out of it. I still really liked it, but I could see that there was a lot of the core Battlefield DNA was missing from it, like things like proper classes, and just squad gameplay in general wasn't really there with that one. With this, they're going back to like a more grounded and gritty military style, present day combat. Squad gameplay is really important.
Lots of destruction as well.
Lots of destruction as well, which is one thing that was missing a bit from 2042, and then they tried to fix it.
Can I ask, sorry, jumping ahead to your impressions in Battlefield 6, is the destruction is it very like, only one specific building can be, or is it like every wall you see basically can be? It's
not everything, but it's a lot. It's like 75% of stuff, I'd say. So the way they've done it is the majority of buildings, they're like front facade can be completely destroyed, or like walls on the side and things. In bigger buildings, like interior walls can be destroyed so you can like go into the next room. You can break through this floor so you can drop down,
like
which is
flanking
really cool.
and stuff, doing that stuff. That's really cool. Yeah.
But yeah, there's like I guess the core foundations of with bigger buildings, the core foundations remain, because I guess they couldn't just have you flatten the whole level, you know?
Yeah.
But smaller buildings can be completely leveled, which is pretty cool. And also
it's a bit like Kong Bonanza, isn't it?
It's actually very like that. I think Jeff Keighley said that himself on stage. But,
Jeff.
The falling debris from the destruction of a building can land on enemies and kill them as well, which is really cool. Yeah. But yeah, just getting into, I guess, so, actually, before I get onto my impressions, one thing that the trailer and the beta kind of, it pulled in a lot of Call of Duty players, because COD has gotten a bit ridiculous in recent entries, especially with skins, and also like COD has changed a lot. I've never been a fan of it, but it's changed a lot from being like this tactical, not really that tactical, but like a grounded military shooter, into like a very sweaty game. like the speed of it is crazy. People jumping around doing trick shots, all that kind of stuff,
sliding and stuff,
that kind of thing. And now they've introduced like crazy skins that don't fit with the military vibe at all. Like I think I've actually got a video here of one of the latest skin packs for Black Ops 6, which is American Dad.
Do you know, I saw I was watching a streamer play Warzone, isn't it? And they were playing as one of Beavis and Butthead, but like they're the cartoony vibe, so like
you can see on
stick
screen.
out so much as well. Like
they stick out so it's just ridiculous, you know. And it's like if you bought the game on even Black Ops 6, this was one of the few Call of Duty games I played, because it came to Game Pass, and I played the story, and it was like grounded, you know, it was set during the Cold War, very like gritty vibe to it. And now this is obviously just for the multiplayer, but still, if you bought into this game looking for that kind of vibe in the like grounded vibe in the multiplayer, and now they're throwing this at you, and there's been a lot of backlash about this stuff. And when the Battlefield 6 trailer released, it kind of got a lot of it got a lot of Battlefield fans hyped, but a lot of Call of Duty fans as well were like, oh, actually, this looks fucking like what I want, you know. So it's pulled people away from that. And then at Gamescom, the trailer for Black Ops 7 was showing off, and it basically, they haven't really changed anything. Okay, the crazy skins aren't there, but they're going for like a futuristic vibe again, which a lot of people don't like in Call of Duty. This one seems to be like, there's a bit of like, I don't know, psychological stuff going on. Like you'll see in the trailer here, there's like buildings and like roads going off up into the air. It's just really wacky. And
but
it's like,
even that, like, I'm like, they were trying to do something big and inventive, but it's a sort of generic corporate version of that as well.
Yeah.
It's like this Doctor Strange has all this architecture spinning around, so let's copy that sort of, or Inception, or even like that.
Yeah, that kind of thing, exactly.
And it's like, it's very by the numbers, even though it's trying to be off the wall, if you get me.
Yeah, and when this was shown off, there wasn't really much fanfare for it. I mean, it's only been a year since Black Ops 6, and now there's another one coming out.
Well, they always do that, yeah.
Yeah, but usually I think usually they try to alternate between Modern Warfare and Black Ops, but now they're just doing like a sequel straight away, and this looks nothing like Black Ops 6 is the thing. It's like a completely different story, like different setting, you know, so... Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, just quickly getting back, I played the beta for Battlefield 6. Amazing, loved it. It wasn't without its flaws. The maps that they included were very small infantry focused maps. So it was just chaos. Like it was... You had to kind of like look around, like be aware 360 degrees like all the time, because people were coming from everywhere, and it got a bit of backlash about that, being like, this feels more like it's catered towards COD players, because people were like, it felt very fast, right? But actually people like went through other Battlefield games and like crunched the numbers, and the movement is actually slower than all other Battlefield games. It was just because the maps were so condensed that it felt very quick. So there are bigger maps that apparently are coming out at launch, and they've shown footage of that now and like kind of eased people's fears a bit. But the core gameplay was amazing though. Like it felt like closer to Battlefield 3 and 4, which were like the heyday kind of, and Bad Company 2 as well for destruction and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm just really excited to play more of it when it comes out in October.
Sick. I might check it out myself, because those were the ones that I sort of, the only ones I really played with any sort of intention. And it seems like they've been trying to find their way back to that for the last like 10 years, basically.
Yeah.
But this does seem a lot more promising anyway for that.
Yeah, no, it seems great. And EA are putting like so many resources into this. They've got 4 studios now as part of Battlefield Studio. So they've got DICE, which were always there. They've got Criterion, Ripple Effect, and Motive. And they're all pretty much working full time on different aspects of Battlefield 6. So they're trying to make this a really big game as well. There's going to be a single player again. There's going to be the usual multiplayer. There's going to be a free battle royale apparently, which I'm not really into battle royale. Like I played Warzone as well, and like PUBG and stuff like that, but I feel like it's kind of run its course. But a lot of people are still into that, I guess. So it being free, I guess, will pull people in, you know. And then I think that was it. Maybe there was some other like mode or something that I'm forgetting. But
it looks amazing. Like the graphics look, and like their sound design is always like top of the league. Like.
The sound design's insane. Yeah. Like when you get in, they have this. They've had this mode in a few of their games now called like, you know, you can go through like dynamic ranges. They've got a mode called War Tapes, and I actually watched a really good video the other day on like breaking down the vibe of, or the feeling of the War Tapes game or audio setting. But it's like if you've ever seen footage, like combat footage on YouTube or something like that, you know, real world stuff, and how everything's really compressed, you know, but it feels like that in the game is like you're watching this like real footage kind of thing. That's how all the sound around you, and yeah, it's really cool. It's just like really immersive.
Sorry, last thing on Battlefield. Why did they do that? Why would someone want it to sound like real war footage? Is it because that's our only way we consume that media?
Yeah, I think I think that's it. I think it's like I don't know if subconscious is the right word to use, but it's like when you, yeah, it kind of, yeah, it subconsciously like puts you, or gives you the same feeling as when you're watching, like, yeah, say like if you've come across like a visceral combat footage on whatever, on YouTube or Reddit or something. That's how it sounds in the game, and it just ratchets up the intensity basically.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting.
But it is like if you play it and you swap between the War Tapes game audio and like just the regular dynamic range, like it is, it just ratchets up the intensity, like I was saying. But it's worth it. It's really cool.
Very excited about that. Can I talk about Silksong?
Yeah, you're dying to
go on then.
So it was teased to release this year at Gamescom by the Pope, and then a trailer dropped a few days afterwards, and we have a release date of September 4th. It's real,
right around the corner.
It's happening, and I can't wait. I've actually been playing Hollow Knight in sort of preparation. Quick sidebar on that: it's as good as I remember. I was worried I'd go back to it and be like, oh, it isn't actually like it was because it was my first Metroidvania, but I've played it a fuck ton since then, and I still think it's one of the best. That and Super Metroid right on the top for me. Yeah, I cannot wait. And interestingly, an interview came out with Team Cherry, and they were asked, so why the delay and why the radio silence? And they said, no, they were just making the game and they were in no rush, so they wanted to make it right. They had no like difficulties or arguments about the game. They were just polishing the game. And they said like, oh, if we made a new area and it was really good, then we'd go back and polish up the old areas to make them as good as this new area. And all this is like singing to me, really.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of love and care went into this.
I cannot wait. It's like I would take more Hollow Knight if they just kept adding DLCs for that. I'd be very satisfied. But it seems like they're adding some new movement abilities, and obviously it's a different character, Hornet, you're playing as. But yeah, I just can't wait. Like replaying Hollow Knight this week made me remember why it's so good and why it is quite different than a lot of other Metroidvania games. Particularly in it's very slow to get going, but in a very good way. As in, a lot of people bounce off it at the beginning because they're like, well, I can't really move fast. I don't have a lot of abilities. The game is like really tough and punishing at times. And it's not until like a few things click that it all comes together. And it's actually like a very satisfying difficulty curve. And I'm hoping this will be the same coming into this.
And this was originally meant to be DLC, wasn't it?
It was.
And then I guess the scope just widened. And
you know what? And fair play to Team Cherry, because they're originally it was an extra incentive on their Kickstarter backing to have this DLC with the Hornet character. And if you supported that at the time, which was like, I don't know, fucking 7-8 years ago, you'll get a copy of this game, even though it's expanded to be a full release.
Oh, that's sick.
And there's been lots of rumors about, or speculation about how much it'll cost. Because Hollow Knight cost $15 when it came out. And they were like, well, they could easily charge like $60 if they wanted, because it's so anticipated. But the rumor is, and there was a GameStop page went up that says it's going to be $20, and that's like so
crazy
generous in a way. Like it's complete opposite of the normal greed that we see. But the thing is, they don't need, like, they're going to make so much money off this anyway. Apparently, Hollow Knight sold 15 million copies, which makes it like one of the most successful indie games of all time. Like, not up in Minecraft levels, but like really, really like top 50 best-selling indie games ever, easily. Little sidebar, right? I sent you something during the week. So it's I only came across it because so many people are talking about Hollow Knight and Silksong this week. But there was a thread on some forum when Hollow Knight came out, and the maker of Ori and the Blind Forest, was on it, basically talking shit about Hollow Knight. Not talking shit.
He wasn't. Yeah, I read through a bit of it, and he was being critical. But
he was being critical,
not in a mean way.
But it's so funny that all the points that he made are things that make it really good. So he's like, "Oh, the movement, like I haven't unlocked a load of abilities," and I'm like, that's great because it teaches you how to platform. And then when you get these new abilities, you're instantly like, it opens up this whole world of possibility. He was talking about how punishing it is. He was talking about how in my game, Ori, we're constantly giving you power-ups and new things and incentives, whereas Hollow Knight's a lot more of a meditative, slow-paced game where you're soaking things in. I've played a bit of Ori recently. I got one of them on the Switch. And I'm not just saying this as a fanboy. It sort of isn't my thing at all. The art style is so like faux Disney cheesiness
I
to
get
me.
you on that.
Yeah, like-
I like Ori well enough, but like it is a little twee.
Twee is the word. Twee fucking nails it. But yeah, and the guys from who made Hollow Knight responded to him on the thread and were really diplomatic, and they're just saying, "Oh, your game's great, but this is the reasons we did this game the way we wanted, and we think it's really good." And I think the proof's in the pudding, really. But
Yeah,
I'm so excited for this. I have a day off. I'm going to play the absolute shit out of it. I am like, people are expecting Elden Ring or the Second Coming of God, whichever is more important. I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting like a slightly different Hollow Knight that's maybe a bit bigger and with an amazing art style. Like that will satisfy me to no end. So very, very hyped, I have to say.
Yeah, I think that because it was in development for so long, the hype is massive for this. But yeah, like from what you were saying, I imagine most fans will just be happy with more Hollow Knight. Like they're not, it's always going to be hard to live up to the hype. But like it's almost if you just do the same thing again, you're golden.
And I wouldn't like them to change too much for the sake of it. Like there is, from the few details we have, there does seem to be different attack and movement abilities in this, which is a natural progression for it anyway. And that's fine as long as it's given the same level of care as it was given in Hollow Knight. Because I love the platforming in Hollow Knight. It's so like just inch perfect, really. So if they can keep that sort of, same attention and, care with the mechanics, then like we're laughing.
Sick.
We are laughing.
Nice.
Right. Well, we've talked a lot about games. We have one last topic to cover, and that's basically, if you had to write it down, it's question mark. I don't know what this is. Stephen, you had something you wanted to fill us in on.
Yeah. So, have you guys ever heard of Tampa, Florida's National Gaming Expo?
Can't say I have.
No.
Okay, so this is a story that dropped earlier this month. Basically, this was a gaming convention that happened earlier this month, and it was being hyped quite a lot because they had lots of like talent coming to it. Ned Luke, who does the voice of Michael in GTA 5, and Rob Whitehoff, who does John Marston, were both said to be showing up to it, and it was hyped pretty well. And this was basically the Fire Festival of gaming expos.
Oh, no.
So like people were showing up and saying like, there's like 10 fucking vendors here, and like it's stuff like health insurance and T-Mobile and stuff like that. Nothing to do with games whatsoever. All the guys who were supposed to show up, like loads of them didn't show up. Like they just didn't come, even though that they were like scheduled to. Ned Luke did show up, and he was on. There was only one panel in the entire gaming expo, and in it he had to take over the MC's job because the MC was doing such a terrible job. But the thing that was great about it was loads of people were complaining about this on Twitter. But the thing is, there was a trend that was happening that kind of subconsciously everybody adopted, where all the negative shit that everyone was complaining about was also attached to a picture of camels or sloths. And the reason for this is one of the things at the Gaming Expo, inexplicably, was a petting zoo. So while it was absolutely shit, there were camels and sloths there that people were like quite surprised, but also happy that they were there. It was like the only good thing at the whole thing.
Camels? That seems like a fucking deep cut for a petting zoo. You'd have like a lamb or something, but like a camel is massive, and hard to bring somewhere.
Yeah, it was wild. So like it was a complete mess. Somebody, what was it? So one Twitter user said that it was a bit like hang on, let me see if I can find the quote. It was the equivalent of walking into a Best Buy searching for a game, seeing the shelves filled with broccoli, dish soap, and various car parts. Then somewhere in the back of the store, there's an open box VCR for $600. It was just like, yeah, everybody was kind of like laughing, like they were pissed about it, but like also everybody was like, but also look, camels.
That's I've only been to one or two conventions and they were pretty good, to be honest. The ones I were at, like, they're decent enough, but you hear so many horror stories about these things because, like, generally organized by people who aren't good at organizing mass events. And
Yeah.
I don't know, sometimes I've heard a lot of bad hygiene stories related to these things as well, which I won't get into. But thank you for sharing that with us, Steve.
Yeah, I just thought it would be, you know, something quite interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff online. If you look up like you know, Florida Tampa's National Gaming Expo, you'll find a lot of comments on this. They're very, very funny.
Excellent.
What a disaster. I was just going to show just one other game. I don't know if you heard about this, Steve, that was shown at Gamescom, called Routine. Looks pretty cool. It's like I'm getting kind of Amnesia vibes, I guess, from it, but in space. I'm trying to find
Oh, I think I've heard of this.
Yeah, it was just a short like teaser trailer they showed for it. I've got it up there now. Where it seems like, yeah, you're kind of trying to avoid enemies and stuff, and you've got this. It's not a gun; it's like a scanner that like lights up. Like you point at a dark hallway, and it will like take a picture and light up the hallway, so you can see what's down there.
Oh, fuck that!
Yeah,
No.
I know it looks really creepy. I'm not sure who's making this actually, but
there does seem to be a lot of stuff coming in survival horror. Like it really is like on a resurgence in a way.
Like it's been that way for a few years
I'm
now, I think, but it's crazy. That new Bloober game, Chronos: The New Dawn, that's out next week, which I'm really excited.
I'm seeing a lot of media and trailers and stuff for that, and it does look somewhat interesting. I guess they're building on the RE2, or not RE2, the Silent Hill 2 remake, and maybe things they learned from that, but in a more sci-fi setting.
Yeah, definitely. Like I've seen a lot of people who've previewed it have definitely compared it a lot to Dead Space, and it does give off that vibe, but it looks really cool.
I'll have to check it out. I'm kind of iffy on that because Bloober Team famously have a very up and down kind of record. Yeah. So see how they go. See what the reviews are like. I'll probably end up getting it eventually, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah. I got one of their games, The Medium, which only got okay reviews. I haven't played it yet, but it's on my list. That was like, I think they made that after Layers of Fear and Observer was their other like cyberpunk kind of horror game.
Oh yeah,
but
Layers of Fear is the only one that I've played at the moment. But I do plan on playing the Silent Hill 2 remake soon. Like,
have you not played that?
Whenever I get ready. No, I mean I can understand why you would think that because I am the biggest Silent Hill fan fucking ever, but I just haven't picked it up yet.
Actually, speaking of Silent Hill, what do you think of Silent Hill F, Steve?
I think it's going to be fine. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be great, but I think it's going to be okay.
The more I see of it, the less I like, to be honest.
It seems to have very like mixed reactions, I think, because it's kind of a new setting and going away from like original Silent Hill.
I like the setting. I like the setting a lot, but I've been hearing a lot of them saying like, you know, oh, there's going to be way more action. And I'm seeing a lot of action in it. So I'm like, that's not really what Silent Hill is about, mate. So I'm, dubious about it. But, you know, it might be okay. We'll see.
Sick. Yeah, I don't know if there's any other games you want to mention or... Yeah,
I think we might be done now. We've been at this for a while now.
Yeah, we have got have fun. Okay.
I guess just to everyone listening, this was a particularly long episode because we were a bit late recording, so we had a lot of stuff to cover. I don't know if it's a bit too soon to be saying our next one will probably be a bit shorter.
It'll be 5 minutes long. We're going to speed.
I'm trying to think actually what is coming up in the next month. The Tokyo Game Show, I think, is soon.
There's been rumors of another State of Play as well, but
there has, yeah. Tokyo Game Show is that's the 25th of September, so we might do one before that or something. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, until the next one, folks. Hopefully next month.
Yeah. Very quickly, just as usual, I want to just plug the GG Game Tracker. Still write reviews on that if you're at all interested in reading them. I'm under the label Stephen Hill 777, and Michael also does those. Hope you don't mind me.
No, yeah,
for you as well, mate.
If you
Look
like
out for a Silk song,
if you like one sentence reviews, then come to me.
And if you like the polar opposite, where it's way too long, far past the point of anybody would ever read, then definitely go for mine.
Well, I read them, Steve, so
I appreciate it, mate. Every time I see one person like this, I'm like, oh, good, Michael's read it. Cheers. So give them a go, and sure, other than that, I guess we will see you guys next month.
Cool.
Sayonara.
Good luck.
Toodaloo.